Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel today. My name is Christian, and today we are here talking about the sophomore album from metalcore band Beartooth. It's titled Aggressive, follow-up to their debut album Disgusting, and I was really looking forward to this record. The first Beartooth record, Disgusting, was in my top 10 of 2014. It blew me away. I'd never heard such raw emotion in a man's voice before. That really translated through his lyrics and really made you feel something. I've never heard such an emotional scream in my life, and it hooked me straight away, and I love Disgusting. It's still one of my favorite albums to just put on, and when I'm in a bad mood, when I'm sad, when I'm, whatever kind of emotion you're feeling, you can put that record on, and it really lets you tap into those emotions. And so when Aggressive was announced, I was really excited. I thought they only had good things coming, that Caleb had been in so many bands, and he's only 21, he's my age. He's been in so many bands, he's already had pretty much a full career, and he's coming into a sophomore album of a band that he now truly believes in and is the sole responsibility for. For those of you who don't know, even though you see more than one member in Beartooth, all those other members are just touring members. They are members of the band, but they just do live. Caleb records, writes, produces, engineers, mixes, and masters everything for Beartooth. He does it all, and it's an incredible thing to be able to do that. As someone who does that myself, as far as the production and mixing and mastering goes, and writing guitars for my band, I know how difficult it is to just do that, but I can't even imagine having to do the vocals and the drums and the bass and all the extra stuff on top of that. So huge respect for Caleb for doing that once again on this record. And so let's delve into this record. Unfortunately, Aggressive is a bit of a disappointment. It is nowhere close to the standard of Disgusting. Having said that, it's not a bad record. It's not at all. If there's place for a band out of the Warped Tour kind of scene to push into more of a mainstream metal audience, and for people, even for just a mainstream audience in general, to get them into heavy music, I can't really think of a better band than Beartooth, and probably Issues as well. But yeah, this is a bit of a disappointment. It is definitely a step down. Disgusting was a 10 out of 10 record in my book, and this isn't even close to that. And it's just a much lower standard. The songs are a lot more basic. They're a lot more, how to put it? So, as I said, they're a lot more basic, and they're just a lot less interesting, is what I'm trying to say. There's not a lot going on in them. They all have pretty much the same structure. They all use, I'm pretty sure they're all in the same key, which is odd. I mean, you can use the same key for all your songs in an album if you make them sound different to each other, but these songs, after about 4 or 5, you think you're listening to the same song, and when I listened back to this album for a second time, it really did feel like I was listening to the same song for 40 minutes, which is it's one of my major gripes with albums nowadays, is just a lack of variety. And this album is the poster child for lack of variety, unfortunately. Unlike Disgusting, which had a whole bunch of different songs, from a really heavy, hardcore bass song, and then having the more metalcore with a clean vocal chorus songs going on, like in between, and then, as I said, the more metalcore songs like I Have a Problem. It really made the album really enjoyable to listen to, and made it a journey, and it hooked me in and grabbed me and then spat me back out. And this one just goes, nah, okay, that's the end of the record. There are good songs on this record. There are good ones, and they are really in the first couple, which is, I think, in very evident of the points that I've been making, that the best songs on this album are at the beginning of the album, because all the other songs afterwards are just rehashes of the same thing. The production on this album is done really well. Caleb is a really good engineer. He really knows how to get a good sound and knows how to get the sound that he's looking for. I would have maybe liked a couple of production things thrown in here and there just to, again, give some of the songs a bit more variety, but the job that he did on the songs that he did really well, and the album sounds crisp and clear and really punchy. But this album just comes down to lack of variety, which just sucks. Just really disappointing, because I love Beartooth. I thought they were going to be one of my favorite bands. I was hugely anticipating this record, and it just let me down. And I think one of the other main things that brings this album down is, like I said with Disgusting, how Caleb has this emotional voice that really sinks into you and makes you feel something. I feel like he got all of that emotion out on Disgusting, and this record, all the emotion's been sucked right out. And even the more heart-wrenching and emotional songs that he's singing lyrically, they feel insincere and they feel just completely non-emotional. And all the emotion's been taken out of his scream. It just now sounds like a standard metalcore scream. His singing isn't as aggressive on this one, I don't think, and not as polished. I think going between those emotional screaming vocals and then to a really clean vocal, like in songs like In Between, which is the best song of Beartooth I've ever written, that and I Have a Problem. Having that in these songs really are what was the catalyst for Beartooth, because the instrumentation's, it's nothing special. It's pretty standard metalcore. And the vocals were really the thing that hooked me in. And to have all the emotion pulled out of these songs through his vocals is a huge disappointment. It was the main thing from this album that just made me uninterested. And instead of hooking me in like it should have, it just, it struggled to grab onto me. So I'm going to do my top 3 tracks now. I think, as I said, I'll just summarize. It's not a bad album. It's a perfectly fine album. If you're a Warped Tour metalcore fan, you're going to love it. You may love it if you're just a here and there heavy music fan. So top 3 tracks for me, I'm going to do Aggressive, Hated, and Sick of Me. They're definitely the best 3 on the record, but there is not a song on this record that is to the same standard as Disgusting, unfortunately. I'm going to give this album a 3 out of 5, just because, as I said, it's fine. And that's not what I wanted from Beartooth. I wanted another spectacular record full of great songs and great choruses. And, sorry, just quickly before I go, that's another thing I'll say. There's not many catchy choruses on this. I struggle to remember any of them. So that's all I have to say about that. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time. Fresh Currents.